So I'm just gonna briefly run through all the things I've done so far. Now, in the last video, we ended with putting our facing on. I went ahead so that we can start to prepare to put in our zipper. And like I said, I knee in the edges of my zipper where I was going to put my zipper. So I just went in, and on both sides of those, I knee in them. Then in order to put in most zippers, you're always going to need, and the easiest way to do that is to put the pieces together and baste the seams closed to ensure that everything is in alignment before you try to go in and attach your zipper. So that's what I did. I took my match points. This is going to be the skirt split. So I took my match points and matched them up. I made sure also to match up my waist seams. You want to make sure these are in exact alignment, because if not, when you try to put the zipper in, it's going to be shifted. So you want to make sure you have your match points where you put your tailor's tacks. You want to make sure you match up where your waistline meets, and you also want to make sure you match up that neckline area. Once you've matched all those up, you just pin them together like I've done. The next thing I did was I took my disappearing chalk and I measured from the edge my seam allowance. So for the most part, it was about 5/8 with the exception of my waist, which I trimmed a little bit because I wanted a more snug fit around the waist. So some of that was trimmed off. So if you notice that it's a little less seam allowance here, that's intentional on my part. Yours can be or should be the same length all throughout, the same seam allowance. So mine was 5/8, yours might be 1 inch. So once I have it marked with the chalk, then I go ahead and I baste it. So I'm gonna go in and take the pins out. I accidentally removed my tailor's tacks, but I've already done what I need to do with this, so that's fine. And I still have the one down where the split of the skirt is going to be. So now you'll see that if you open up where I basted it, it's this seam here. And the seam goes all the way down to the split. So you're not going to go, you might be tempted when you're stitching to go in this way and then out. This is actually going to be a split, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So you're just going to go straight down to that seam allowance. So once that's open, and like I said, this is for most zippers. It might be a little bit tricky or different for an invisible zipper, but I just wanted to show you just to make sure that your seams are matching up when you open them. The garment is inside out. The zipper needs to be with the teeth up. So your teeth should be in the upward direction. If it's the other way around, the zipper is going to be on backwards. So you should be placing your zipper teeth facing up, and the seam or the invisible part of the zipper should be facing down towards the right side. If you're using a normal zipper, I'm actually showing you the technique for an invisible zipper. If you're using a normal zipper, it follows the same setup with the exception of it just looks different. So your teeth are going to probably look like this on both front and back, where invisible zipper is, this is supposed to be, again, invisible. So you just go ahead in, and I always go at the top, and you place the zipper not on top of the facing, because if you place it on top of the facing, the facing is going to be folded over on top of the zipper. So if you go all the way up, that's not going to be correct. So you're going to need to place it the top part of the teeth just below the top of the facing, and then you're going to pin it. If you feel frustrated with this at first, it's not uncommon. Again, the sleeves and the zipper are one of the most complex portions of a garment to put together. So as you can see here, I've only done one part because I'm going to actually go in and open up that basting. The basting was temporary, and I just used it to make sure that the dress was in alignment. I'm going to go down to the bottom of my zipper. My zipper measures about 22 inches. Yours might stop at the waist. I just like to go full on with the zipper that I have. If you decide to cut it, there's a special technique with that. But just for the sake of this lesson, I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to do the regular zipper. So I'm just going to kind of put a pin there because that's letting me know that this is where my zipper ends. So now I'm just going to baste this one side of the zipper. So I'm going to go in and baste it. Now I can go in and take out those pins. I'm going to leave this pin in for now, and then I'm just going to go in where I have it closed off, because if you look on this side, you'll see that it's completely closed off, and I'm just going to remove the basting thread up until about the point where I marked. So from the top here, I'm just going to pull my basting thread through. Okay, so now it's open, as you can see. Take that pin out. And in order to sew your invisible zipper on the sewing machine, you're going to need to open it. If you try to sew this on the sewing machine with it closed, it's not going to come out the way you want it to. So you would have to go in and just open it up. So far we have one side, and you kind of flip it over this way, and you can sort of see the makings of an invisible zipper. So I'm gonna just go to the machine with the one side of it done and run it through so we can see what that looks like. So here I want to show you the two types of zipper foots that can be attached to your sewing machine that will help you more easily put on a zipper. There are two types of feet. One of these is this sort of thin one that I have here, which is great for invisible zippers. It's specifically for invisible zippers so that you can get as closely inside to that zipper. So you have these two sides, and you're able to move your machine needle to either the left or the right side in order to use this. And it's also very thin, so it makes it a lot easier to get into the very groove of the zipper, which for invisible zippers is very important, that you're able to use these grooves to just get as close to the zipper as possible. That's what makes a quality invisible zipper. Then I have this other foot, which can be used for just normal zippers. It doesn't necessarily have to be for invisible zippers. It's a little wider, and it also allows you to have the left and right side in order to move your needle to either side. So I also can use this for invisible zippers, but I prefer the other one because it does allow you to get a lot closer to those edges than this does. But if you do see zipper foots, just make you aware these are the two types you can use. Quickly just put my new foot inside of my machine. I've removed the other foot from there. I'm going to move it more to the left side, and it's just the same way you would insert any other foot. You just attach it to that bar, lift your shank area. Okay, so I'm going to start at the bottom of this seam, only because it's easier to kind of guide through, and it's easier just to make sure that everything is in alignment when you're going from the bottom to the top. I have my pin here. I'm actually going to go a little bit away from the head of the zipper. Take the pin out so I don't have any issues. Okay. The key to a well done zipper, invisible zipper, is making sure that you get in as tightly to those grooves as possible. So you'll see that this is the teeth area, and you almost want to lift the teeth area away and get into the very groove of the invisible zipper. The closer you are, the better results you'll get for your invisible zipper. However, you also have to keep in mind as you're pulling away that the needle doesn't get caught and it sort of like rolls back over, because now the zipper won't zip up. And you also have to be very careful when you're doing your stitching that you don't get so close that it makes it difficult. So first I just sort of drop my needle in there just to kind of get me anchored in. And then I just very slowly, I'm going to back stitch. I very slowly go in, and I'm going to get as close as possible just to make sure I can see. And I want to get as close to without interfering with the teeth as possible. And like I said, the closer you get with this stitch, the nicer the results. I dart back and forth between your goal and the edge of the presser foot. So I'm almost done, and once I get to the edge, I'm actually going to sew or stitch past this point and straight up, only because this top part of the zipper, you want that hidden. So when I'm done at the end and I'm ready to close up the zipper, I don't want that pink part of the zipper to show, because again, we're talking about an invisible zipper, and the goal is to have as little zipper exposed as possible. And then, as you would with anything, you're going to back stitch it. Okay, let's just take a quick glance. That's what you want. As I'm closing it up, I'm losing some of that seam, so you don't really see the pink on this side, which means that I did a really good job with my invisible zipper. So what you do to one side, you do to the other side. With the zipper closed, you do the same thing. You close it back up, you baste the one side down, and you do the same exact technique on the other side. Okay, before I flip this back over to the wrong side to continue working on closing up the center back, I just wanted to show you what an invisible zipper looks like when it's all done and it's completed. As you can see, it is fulfilling its namesake of being invisible. This should look like just a seam. It's open, and then it closes up. And it should kiss beautifully together so that you cannot see any actual zipper teeth. So this is your ideal result for a finished zipper, invisible zipper. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Videos are uploaded weekly covering dressmaking, fashion, lectures, and more.